Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast, one man's anonymous and live account of if he should get a divorce or stay married. He's been cheated on and he's cheated, protecting the innocent with changed voice patterns, the omission of names, ages and genders. His authentic journey and account of the daily events of his marriage are helping him sort out his feelings and not get lost in the ups or the downs. New episodes are released daily. Welcome to the Divorce Diaries podcast. Entire seasons are released on Patreon weeks before anywhere else. At Divorce Diaries podcast Patreon page. Link in description. Now for today's episode.
I now understand what plenty of people that have gone down the path of parent mistakes, how they wish they had a do-over. And one of the key bits of advice that people say all the time is do not involve your kids in your marital problems. Don't talk to your kids about what you guys are going through, no matter how tempting it might be. And I remember my arrogance before. I just kind of thought that, no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to involve my kids in anything. Why would I say anything to them? But I committed what I now understand to be one of the worst sins ever. I did start talking to my children about what was happening with me and my wife. Everyone always said it. Don't talk to your kids. Don't involve your kids. And it's weird because when you're in the middle of the situation, you don't realize how much you're looking for allies. You don't realize how much you want to set up your own camp because in a weird way, you're sort of acknowledging that you're in a war. You're in a war of perspective. You're in a war of ideas and ideals. You're in a war of morals against your spouse, which is already the worst place to be in if you're married. And it doesn't matter that my wife was talking to the kids, that the kids, as they got older, we both thought maybe possibly their maturity, we should probably share things with them because they're more mature now and things are better. And they're not involving them like they're 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 years old is the same as not involving them when they're in their teen years. And I think that really fractured and has permanently, well, nothing's permanent. Nothing's permanent. Everything shall pass. It may not be the future that you prospected, but there could be some repair there, is what I'll say. But there's definitely been some permanent fractures in all of our relationships because my wife and I have included our kids in our problems. And just yesterday, I made a vow, and I made this vow I made the vow just to myself. I will never, ever, ever, I won't try to do what I did in the past. I tried to clear up a story. When I understood that my wife had been talking to our children about what's happening with us, and I was always the last to know. I mean, literally, I'm always the last to know, and I didn't know that my wife was having conversations with our kids and telling them, you told them this? Okay, well, if you told them this, why did you leave out the part that you did? Or if you told them that, why didn't you say the whole story? If you told them that, why didn't you tell them where you were or whatever? I felt like I felt like a victim, and she was trying to paint me in a bad light. I felt like she was trying to make herself look better. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, but I didn't actually actively think about any of those things. I didn't. This is me in hindsight saying, well, maybe I was thinking that. It doesn't matter. I felt like I was trying to defend myself, and you should never feel like you need to defend yourself against your spouse. That was one of the signs probably that my wife and I either needed to get help or needed to get a divorce. Because trying to navigate that and thinking that, oh, I'm doing the righteous thing I'll tell them the whole story. I'll acknowledge like, yeah, I did that, but this is the rest of the story your mom didn't tell you. I just fully participated and threw more toxicity on my wife and I's relationship in the eyes of our children. And I became a gossiper about my wife. I became a shit talker about our marriage and my wife. And what's funny is I was talking shit about myself, not even realizing it. I'm the one that married her. I'm the one that participated in that thing that happened. I'm the one that is involved in the situation. And I'm also the one without clean hands. So the fact that I'm talking to my children about our marriage, that's all it boils down to. I'm involving children that have me to look at as their dad, her to look at as their mom. I'm involving them into our intimate parent details. Someone cheated. Why did they cheat? Where were they? When did it happen? Here's why I did this. Here's why I didn't say that to her. Here's why she said that to me, according to her words. Did she tell you that she said this or that she did that? Absolute toxicity. I was pouring toxicity into an already toxic situation. I was pouring toxic gas on a toxic situation so that it could combust faster, so they could fuck us all over more and quicker. And I did it all in the name of some bullshit about me being right, or me wanting to clear up the story, or me wanting to make sure if you know half the story, you deserve to know all the story. Didn't at all think about them as children. Didn't think about them as being in the middle. All I did was, again, think about myself and just how much it hurt that the whole story wasn't being told, and how it might affect me and their relationships, and me. So it's just more selfish symptoms on display from the self-righteous, arrogant, self-centered perspective I had on myself. So if this can help anyone, I implore you, because last night I'm sitting across the table from my daughter, and I mean, really, she has a look of disgust toward me. And it's because of things that I've done and a bad perspective that I've had. That's why she's looking at me that way. But I can just see the respect going from her eyes toward me, her father. And I know right now, unless I work really hard, I'm not going to be able to advise my daughter on the relationship decisions that she might be making that may cost her something permanent in her life. Her spending time with a gentleman caller that is not worth her time. Or worse, she doesn't evolve into the woman that she could be if she had a healthy, balanced relationship with her father. I am potentially going down a path of permanent fracture and setting my daughter up for more pain and more blame and more of a chasm between us, because I wanted to help her understand that, your mom isn't the saint that she says she is. Okay, maybe she's not trying to say that she's a saint, but she's not exactly telling you the entire story, and here's the rest. And with me posting that rant-filled, anger-filled version 1.0 of the bullshit fucking Divorce Diaries podcast before, where I was just an angry, sad, hurt person that just wanted to yell and tell anyone that would listen about the wrongs that I feel have been perpetrated upon me. I was actually just putting all of the dirty laundry on display for my daughter to hear. And it just really, really hurt our relationship. The things that I posted on that old podcast, and the things that that I actually physically said to her when I'm trying to clear things up, like I'm fucking high on the horse or whatever the fuck, that I'm trying to self-aggrandize and make sure that, hey, if I'm in the mud, my wife ought to be in the mud with me too, and I'm going to let you know. If anybody's going to be on your shit list, it's going to be us, not just me. I was a real piece of shit dad for doing that. And if you don't want to ever see your kids look at you with the same level of disdain that my kids are looking at me with, it's because you're talking to them about some shit that they don't need to know anything about. And you can't control your spouse. You can't control if they're going to talk about you and what they're going to say and what they're going to do. But I guarantee you that if you want to jump on the side of airing their dirty laundry in the name of airing the entire set of dirty laundry, you're just making everybody dirtier. And you're just fucking up your kids. So don't say shit to your kids about what the fuck is happening between you and your spouse. Ever. It doesn't matter how big or small you think the knowledge and the information is. Don't say anything to your kids about what's happening in your fucking marriage. I did that. It made me a piece of shit father, and no one was fucking better for it. Based on that, I don't really know who would want to be married to me. Fuck my decision in the Divorce Diaries podcast. Do I want a divorce or not? Shit's not about me anymore. I fucked up. I did that, and I was a piece of shit for doing it. And now I'm laying in that fucking bed because, oh yeah, I want to tell my kids and involve them in adult business that the two fucking childish fucking adults haven't even figured out themselves yet. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Wow, that was the Divorce Diaries podcast. The Daily Saga will continue tomorrow. The full season's episodes are on Patreon now. Subscribe for early access. Click the Patreon link in the description. Hopefully these entries help our anonymous recorder as a form of his own personal therapy. That's his hope and his intention. Will these recordings of life's curveballs lead this family to the best resolution in the end? We'll keep listening. New episodes are released daily on all podcast players, but all episodes are available on Patreon at Divorce Diaries Podcast Patreon page. Until next time.